Okay, so what if I told you hell wasn't about fire and brimstone at all? What if it was just a stuffy hotel room you could never ever leave? Sounds pretty awful, right? Well, that's the absolutely terrifying idea behind Jean-Paul Sartre's masterpiece, No Exit. And today, we're going to check in.
Yeah, this line. Hell is other people. I mean, you've definitely heard this before, right? It's become this go-to quote for, everything from a roommate who doesn't do the dishes to that awkward family dinner. It's everywhere. But what does it really mean? Is it just a witty complaint? Nope, not even a little bit. To get what Sartre was actually saying, we have to go inside. We've got to step into this custom-built hell and meet the poor souls trapped there. So you ready? Let's unlock that door. All right, first up, a hell with no fire. So our first guy, a man named Garson, he shows up expecting, the absolute worst. But what he finds is way, way creepier than any fire pit. It's just normal. So Garson walks into this room, and it's not what you'd picture. This isn't Dante's Inferno, There are no demons with pitchforks, no lakes of fire. It's just a fancy, kind of stuffy drawing room. And that's the first clue, isn't it? The sheer ordinariness of it is what makes it so chilling. You immediately get that this hell, it's all in your head. And Garcia is totally confused. He's literally asking, hey, where's the torture equipment? Where are the racks, the red-hot pincers? He's ready for physical pain. And the guy who brought him in, the valet, he just laughs at him. See, it's the fact that there are no torture devices that's the real horror here. The rules are way more twisted than that. Okay, so what are the rules of this place? Well, they're weird. The lights are always on. There are no windows, no mirrors. You can never sleep, you can't even blink, and the door, locked. Just think about that. It's designed to force you into this state of constant, agonizing awareness. Forever. But that no mirrors rule, that's the big one. You can never see yourself. The only way you can see yourself is by how other people see you. Keep that in your back pocket, because it's going to be important.
So, Section 2, 3 Damned Strangers. Yeah, Garcin doesn't stay alone for very long. The management, shall we say, has sent him some roommates, and they are hand-picked to make this a truly eternal nightmare.
So, 2 more people show up. First, there's Inez Serrano. She's a postal clerk, and right away you can tell she's sharp, cynical, not here to make friends. Then you get Estelle Rigault, this high society type who is just appalled by the furniture and is immediately looking for a mirror. So you have these 3 people who couldn't be more different, and watching them try to make polite small talk is just cringe-inducingly awkward. And right away, Inez gets it. While Garcin and Estelle are kind of hoping, oh, maybe this is all just a big misunderstanding, some paperwork mix-up, Inez is like, nope. She says, I tell you, they've thought it all out. Down to the last detail, this room was all set for us. She knows this isn't random. She knows they were put here together on purpose for a very, very cruel reason. All right, Section 3, the sins unmasked. And yeah, that whole being polite thing, it does not last long. I mean, with the lights always on and with them just staring at each other constantly, their lies start to fall apart. And the real people underneath, they start to show. It's Inez, of course, who just rips the Band-Aid off. She cuts right through the BS. We're in hell, my pets. They never make mistakes, and people aren't damned for nothing. She knows they're all there for a reason, and she thinks the only way to deal with it is to just get it all out on the table. Time for confessions. And oh boy, the truth is, it's bad. Really bad. So you have Garcin. He claims he was some kind of pacifist hero. The truth? He was a coward, a deserter, and he made his wife's life a living hell. Then there's Estelle. She plays the innocent little victim. Her truth? She cheated on her husband and then murdered her own baby. And Inez? Well, she's surprisingly honest. She just says she's a damned bitch, but the reality is she's a full-blown sadist who intentionally drove 2 people to their deaths. Yikes. Okay, so, torture by gaze. Now that everything's out in the open, the real torture can finally start. And it is absolutely not what any of them were prepared for. This is it. This is the big reveal. Inez figures it out. She says, I mean that each of us will act as torturer of the 2 others. There's no demon coming. There's no guy with a hot poker. They are the torturer. Each one is the perfect instrument to torment the other 2 forever. I mean, look at how perfectly designed this hell is. It's genius in a horrible way. You've got Garson, right? He's a coward who is desperate for someone to tell him he's a hero. Then there's Estelle. She's so vain, she needs a man's admiring gaze just to feel like she exists. And then there's Inez, the sadist, who gets her kicks from watching other people suffer. See how it works? Garson needs Estelle to call him a hero, but she doesn't care. She just wants him to desire her. Estelle wants Garson to desire her, but he's too busy worrying about being a coward. And Inez just sits back and watches this whole train wreck, poking at their weaknesses. It is a perfect, self-contained, inescapable torture chamber.
Part 5. The door opens. So as you can imagine, the pressure in this room just builds and builds until it's totally unbearable. Garson, he just snaps. He can't take it anymore, and he makes a run for it. He's literally pounding on the door, screaming for the old-fashioned torture, anything to replace this psychological nightmare. And then, bam! The door, the one that's been locked this entire time, it just flies open. There it is, a way out.
So, there they are. The door's open. They're free, right? Are they free? What do you think they do?
Garcin says, "I shall not go." He stays. And you have to ask, why? Why would he stay? It's because he finally understands he's trapped, but not by the locked door. He's trapped psychologically. He can't leave until he gets what he needs, which is validation. He is desperate for Inez, the one person in that room who truly gets him, to look him in the eye and say, "You are not a coward." His entire sense of self now depends on her judgment, so he's not free. His identity is their prisoner.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. Hell is other people. Garcin's choice to stay finally shows us the devastatingly brilliant meaning behind that famous line. So here it is. Hell is other people doesn't mean other people are annoying. It means that hell is a state where you are constantly being seen, judged, and defined by other people. Your identity isn't even yours anymore. It's just a reflection in their eyes. You are completely objectified by their gaze, forever trapped by their judgment of you. The door closes, and Garcin just sighs and says, well, let's get on with it. And that's it. That's pure resignation. The fight is over. They get it now. They accept their fate, which is to just continue this miserable, agonizing dance forever and ever.
And in the middle of all this, Inez drops probably the most important line for understanding Sartre's whole philosophy. She looks at Garcin and says, "You are your life and nothing else." That is pure existentialism. What she's saying is, your good intentions don't matter. Your excuses don't matter. You are what you do. Your life is just the sum total of all your actions, and when it's over, that's it. That's your final grade. So, as we finally leave these three to their eternal, stuffy room, the play kind of turns its gaze back on us. It leaves us with this really tough question to chew on. If you are your life and nothing else, when all is said and done, what will your summary be? What's the story your actions are telling? It's a heavy one, and it's meant to stick with you long after the curtain falls.